Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm going to be showing you how to dominate on Taliyah jungle. She just got a huge buff to where if you can get the early game rolling, you'll have a lot of impact in your games. I'd say it plays very similar to a Twitch jungle, especially since Twitch jungle is typically played AP right now. You're kind of like a more ranged version of AP Twitch jungle. With that being said, I do think Taliyah is quite a bit more challenging to play than AP Twitch jungle, since she's all skill shots. If you miss your W, you miss out on half of your E damage, which is insane, and obviously the W damage itself. So it's just super important to land your W and preferably throw them into your E. So you can W into E while they're in midair, or you can just slow them with your E then W. Either or is fine, just depends. Taliyah's healthy as long as you don't do too many camps early on. You normally just want to get level 2 and start putting out pressure. Since we're on this side of the map, we'll do our red buff into blue Gromp and then try to impact top lane. You want to focus on your lanes that have the most CC. In a lot of ways, Taliyah needs her teammates to do the work for her. Hold them still so she can do her thing. Just trying to damage them a little bit as I cross over, keep myself healthy. Your E is a nice little slow. We're going to Q him. And make sure when you Q, you're on the outside. Otherwise, you only get one single Q. So you can pull them all the way out to work the ground that you're no longer want to step on anyways. Since we want to do Gromp, we're going to pull him away from the Gromp area so we don't work that ground over. And then we'll take Gromp here. It's the same thing. Try to work multiple areas. Like that wasn't a great Q spot right there. You want to try to get the edges as you pull them out and then kite him back in. Just like that. We're back to pretty much full HP now. 3 can't clear Taliyah double buff plus Gromp is one of your best ways to go. Farming towards Gromp to be healthy. Now we can look for a gank or zoom in. Looks like Zach's baiting it out for us pretty hard, admittedly. We're going to run up, hit her with an E for the slow, stay on her with our autos. We're going to Q and keep autoing. You can Q even in the, you can auto attack even in the middle of your Q, which gives you a lot of extra damage. So there I kind of walled her off and stayed on her with my auto attacks. Red buff is very important for Taliyah. If you want to mess her up, invade her red side like you would with a Twitch jungle. Yeah, we got him. Very nice. Once Zach was holding him still, we used our W. That way he couldn't dodge it. We also wanted to wait till Master used his Q so he couldn't dodge it as well. We're going to leave at this point. We should be able to get double scuttle out of it. He didn't have time since scuttle spawns in at 315. But yeah, Taliyah, early game, super red buff reliant for her ganks. Otherwise, you don't have that same slow pressure or damage in general. Whenever you use your W, preferably do it towards your E. That way you get both parts damage of your E. That can be hard for some people to remember. But it's pretty simple. Just try to use your W towards it. So there, we're going to bop them towards it, get max damage. Once you're level 3, you can take raptors and golems pretty easily. It's only in your first 2 levels where you just generally try to avoid them. We'll just go ahead and leave that one. We're not going to stay for it. You want to try to stay on the walls when you gank for the movement speed. Where you didn't get it there because of... see, we stayed on him with our slows on our E and our auto attack. We were queuing him. And then we finally had a good time to use our W, but then he flashed it. That'll happen a lot. If their flash is up, that's why you don't want to W early, because then they'll immediately flash and then you won't do any damage to them. But if their flash is down, then obviously it's easy to land W. So we're going to kite to our golems here. We could go on potentially for the other scuttle, but we don't have bot prio, so it's a bit risky. We'll probably just play back towards top lane. It's fine to camp the same lane on Taliyah. It's kind of like an Evelyn or a Twitch. You just want to gank the easiest lane possible. You don't have to affect all lanes. Thank you for the sub, Martic. Thank you for the gifted sub, man. I'm going to pull out again. We didn't quite get it. We were slightly on the worked ground. It doesn't always give you the benefit of the doubt when you go for it. Thank you for the 4 months, Alexgra24. Oh, looks like they're on Dragon right now. We should be able to crush them. We're going to get our Q out. Get our E down, kite backwards, gonna W master E into the stuff. Very nice. Ooh, stay on him with our autos. He doesn't have flash. Nice. Yeah, we can take dragon here. Probably just dragging him back. I'll tank it. I need to back anyways. That's fine. I should use my Q farther off to the side and put the center circle to where it's taking up most of the pit. Gonna go ahead and reset now. Normally on Taliyah, you want to reset when you can afford at least a blasting wand. Like really no sooner than blasting wand. In this case, we'll get a Lost Chapter and Dark Seal and boots. If you're not fed, it's perfectly okay to just go completely for the full Luden's Tempest. Since we got quite fed this game, going for the early Dark Seal is going to give us a lot of carry potential. It is still viable to go Dark Harvest on Taliyah. However, it will do a lot less than Electrocute in your early ganks. Dark Harvest is more for team fighting on her. That way you can apply it multiple times. Electrocute will give you a lot more value in 1v1s, 2v2s typically. Especially in the early game. Take him down. We're going to go push into our top side. We have our R. Massive gap closer. Zach just needs to bait it out. He has his R. I guess he doesn't have his... Just knocked her into my E, which shreked her really hard. I used my W to knock her into my E. It was a bit risky, because if she did do a better job of dodging it, then we would have missed out on a lot of our damage. If you're worried about that happening, then you just throw down your E early on top of them for the slow, and you hit him with Qs and autos. If you do Q from inside of your worked ground, you only get one, but it only costs 1 mana. So if you're really low on mana, you have none, you just stand on your worked ground and you hit him with a Q. That's kind of something you do out of desperation rather than actually just wanting to do that, since obviously a lot less damage. It's kind of funny how it's only 1 mana though. When a spell is so bad that it only costs 1 mana. Yeah, she's going way too deep. I tried to W her back, but I missed it. Hit her with my Q there. I'm still on my worked ground, it's making this really challenging. Just flash ear, she's dead. I have my R. I need to back away from these bushes if possible, though. I don't know where Master E is. Now that I have vision of the bush, it's a bit safer. With Ravenous Hunter, you do heal quite a bit off of monster camps. Nice, nice. I like it. Just W, try and get some flat damage, hit him with the Q. This is ideally what it looks like with Taliyah. You play around your laner who has the CC, so whether you have a Shen top, Zac top, even a Darius hook type of thing. Generally, you're going to stay away from things like Katarina, since she doesn't have any way to help you land your W. It's just not a lane you're going to want to try to impact. It's not a lane that you're really going to want to go to. Now, if the enemies are low enough to where you don't need your W or E damage, if they're like half health or lower, then yes, we could go there. But if they're full health, since we're not going to have a consistent way of landing W, then it's not really worth it. The enemy bot shoving up really far. We could probably go down there. In fact, we are gonna. We have our R as well. We can cut them off. With champions that have dashes like Pyke, your R is pretty useless because they'll just go over it. But against these guys, you have to double tap it too. Gonna get my E on this guy. W him back towards us. Q him. He's dead. Make sure you press your R twice. If you only press it once, it'll shoot out the wall. If you press it twice, that's when you actually ride it. So you have to really double tap it. It'll be very depressing when you don't attach to your ultimate. I think they should change it to where if you only press it once, then that's when you automatically attach it. And if you press it twice, that means you don't want to. Because almost every time when you use your R, you want to attach. Very rarely do you ever use your R and not attach on it. Very rare. Gonna go ahead and max our W second as we miss our... max our E second as we miss our W. Your E per level gets way more damage than your W. Your W is only there to complement your E by shooting them through it. Zach's doing quite well top. Now that we have Irelia dead, we could easily go for Herald here. Any champion can solo Herald even without items, whether you're a Janna or Soraka, as long as you're dodging its big hits. The only reason why you ever need more than one person to do Herald is if you're worried about enemies coming, but in terms of just fighting Herald, mono e mono, anyone can do it. Since you just hit it in the back, having two people doesn't even speed it up twice speed, since the eye only comes out, I believe it's every 4 seconds if you're auto attacking it enough. It's not actually based off, I don't believe it's based on the damage you do to it. It's actually based off of the auto attacks you're hitting it with. Even though it seems like it is the damage you're doing, it's really not. I'm gonna come over here. We don't really need that scuttle right now. Gonna get down my E. I tried to W him. Holy cow. The Int brothers are strong. Ooh, but not strong enough. Oh! Oh! The Zach peel, I'll take it. You gotta love the Zach peel there. I can't take full credit for calling them the Int brothers. Obvious reference to the Mario brothers. Someone in chat actually said that, so just taking advantage of it. Very clever. Yeah, you gotta love those Zach Rs. That's actually a big reason Zach tends to counter Master Yi. Even if Master Yi gets off a really good Q to try to dodge Zach's EC, the Zach R lasts for so long that there's no way for Master Yi to dodge all of it, so Zach will inevitably land the knock and damage of his R. I've played Zach a lot in higher elo against Master Yi players, or even Funnel. It can do quite well against if your mid laner's half decent. It can be a big if. Knock them both into me. Yeah, it's a lot of damage. That's why Taliyah, if you have heavy CC on your team and your team needs an AP champion, you can get high value. Zach held him still. I WEQ'd and they evaporated. We'll run into this guy, hit him with an E. Oh, he's really fast. That fleet footwork. I don't even want to still cat his minions. I'm just trying to help her push the wave. Ye's red buff's coming up and I want to go play around that. I missed my W on the big one, rip. We have 10 stacks on our Dark Seal. We can easily go for Mej as long as we can pick up a Zanya's as well. Or I should say a Stopwatch, and then it's pretty good. Stopwatch is pretty important for keeping your Mej stacks alive. Our W's on cooldown. We have our Blue Smite though. I need to get away from these guys. Yeah, yawn miss. Your Q really does block off a lot of space though. Your Q, since it lasts for so long, like if I Q in front of them and walk back, it forces them to either die or to walk with me towards my teammates. The more you play Taliyah, the more comfortable you'll get with blocking off space in your different skill shot options. Even if you don't land the skill shot, you can really wall off a lot of space. She's a borderline control mage. Normally people consider control mages things like Orianna with her ball or Syndra, but Taliyah's pretty much right there with them with how much space her abilities take up. People just generally discount her since she's not a viable mid laner right now, but since they buffed her Q against the monster camps, it does full damage per Q. And she's actually quite controlling in these fights. We're going to go ahead and pick up our Luna's Tempest. You shouldn't generally be sitting around with that much gold. It's just because I've been ahead and been playing around my teammates. I've been trying to avoid situations where I'm going to die. We're going to go for Sork Shoes, and we're going to finish going into our Zanyas. If you're fed, you do not want to blow your shutdown gold. You want to keep that alive for as long as possible. We have our Stopwatch now. We have our R. It's kind of dangerous to R into them. Might want to just R behind them and wait for my Katarina. So we'll come off to the side here. Yeah. That works. Gonna blue smite him. And he's dead. He has really nowhere to go. It's hard for if you outrange them, it's hard for them to do much to you. Because you kind of wall them off. They run out of options. Your Q is on such a short cooldown. It's like a machine gun. It's like they're trying to outrun a minigunner who's just barely moving the minigun at them, and it's like cutting through all the trees in infinite line of lead to where eventually you'll catch up because of your movement speed whenever you're near the walls. But most importantly, guys, like once you're ahead, yeah, really anyone can play Taliyah. It's because she's fast and has lots of damage. Most importantly is how you do play the early game. Playing around your level 3, playing around your red buff early game on the ganks is very important. If you are behind on Taliyah, you're giving your team very little, if any, value. Trust me, I've been behind on her plenty of times. And it is not a fun experience when you're behind on her. Because she's very squishy. Once they do get to you, you die. And if you don't have the damage to kill them, they stand on your head. I think they might be AFK at this point. Not 100% on that. Yeah, these are your runes. If you want to see the runes, items, everything in one place, go back to the very start. But this is generally going to be your best rune page for early mid-game aggression. I prefer to Dark Harvest at the moment. Blue Smiter. And I even got the kill. Nice wind wall. I'm going to wait to use my W until my E's up. Missed it. I should have waited for the Zac, honestly. I don't have any mana for my Q. I should have stood on my work soil. Your Q costs 90 mana. It's kind of nuts. Very nice. We need to back out here. We're super low. The Int brothers have a lot of CC. Even though they're both assassins, realistically. They both have AoE knockups. Kind of nuts. Go ahead and grab our blue buff. We need the mana desperately. Yeah, that once... It's kind of like an AP Graves in her playstyle of needing to be aggressive early. But once you do have that lead, it's very difficult for the enemies to come back. There's just not... There's only so much they can do. Because her abilities on such... Her Q's on such a short cooldown, they can only outplay you so hard. You're going to keep Q chunking. And especially if you're ahead, it puts the pressure on them to engage. Like, unless they have something really long range like Zerath or Syndra, they have to engage on you. And Taliyah plays really well from either moving away or moving forward. She's generally terrible if you're having to stay in the same spots because of the way her Q works. So it's kind of like don't chase Singe, don't chase Taliyah. And it's kind of like don't run away from her either. You want to try to keep her in the same spots when you're fighting her if possible. You can only run away if you're faster, otherwise she'll machine gun you down, which you've been seeing a lot with the Int brothers here. Yeah, it's over for them. I can solo Dragon, honestly. Like Taliyah can solo it pretty easily. That was a bad Q on my part. I put that way out of... What is he thinking, though? We can even hit it over the wall. That's kind of funny. I'm going to attach to it. There we go. Something that takes a little bit to get used to is in the mid-late game when your Q's on an insanely short cooldown, you have to get used to spamming it. Sometimes you can forget to use it because it's only on a 2-second cooldown. It starts to feel very similar to a Karthus in terms of your Q tempo. Not many champions have abilities on this low of a cooldown. Yasuo Wind Wall doesn't block that, fortunately. Well, that's going to kill him. I still have my Zhonya's as well. Once you start your Q, they can't stop it. Like, once it starts, whether they knock you up or stun you, it's going to go through. So if they're approaching you from the front, they're going to really pay the price. I will say she does have a learning curve. If you've never played her before, I would try her 100% play her in normals. Or at the very least, at least play her in training tool. If you've literally never played her before. Her abilities can feel kind of clunky, especially her W. The W, I'm still not completely satisfied with the way you have to let go of it, even though I have it on Smart Cast. I'm in a weird spot here, kind of pinched. Juke that out. You really shouldn't have done that though. Got him with the knock. Get my E down. I'll Zanya's that, and I'll keep all my mesh. Very nice. Got him. I assume they surrender there. There's really no coming back for them. We have a tank. They don't have a tank. We have a fed Taliyah. There's just nothing more they can do here. To join the viewer games, you just have to spend your fiddle diddles, and then I'll invite you. It's at the very bottom. Yeah, let's wrap this up if possible. They're gonna run out and leave base, so let's get these turrets down. Nice. Yeah, they're goners. Blew some item. I don't know what they thought was gonna happen when they left there. Because they're not really even fighting under their turrets, so we'll just finish it here. Good stuff. I really like Electrocute Taliyah versus Dark Harvest. I think you'll get much better results out of Electrocute. That's going to wrap up this Jungle Taliyah guide. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you haven't had a chance yet, come chat and chill live on stream. My name is KingStix. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.